So, you're thinking about selling your home. It's a huge deal, right? Of course, you want to get top dollar, but you also want to do it without all the drama and stress. Well, today, we're going to open up the strategic playbook for doing exactly that. This is your guide to getting the most money in your pocket with the least amount of headache. Let's dive in. You know, every single home sale doesn't really start with a for sale sign. It starts with a story, a life event. People move for reasons that are incredibly personal. Maybe it's for health reasons or to be closer to family, or maybe it's just about downsizing for that next stage of life. It's a massive emotional decision, and that's the very first thing we have to get our heads around. Okay, so that brings us to the first chapter in the playbook, the human side of things. Before we can even talk about pricing or paint colors, we have to deal with the biggest hurdle for almost every seller. What on earth do you do with a lifetime of stuff? And this, right here, this is a scene that plays out in houses all over the country. You've got one person, often the wife in this real-life scenario, who feels the need to sort through every single item. And then you have the other person, the husband, whose gut reaction is, let's just get a dumpster and be done with it. Look, neither one is wrong, but they're on a collision course, and I'm telling you, this is a totally 100% normal part of the process. So here it is, the real starting line. It's not about the house at all, not yet. It's about you. The very first strategic move you have to make is figuring out how you're going to tackle this personal journey of letting go together. Getting on the same page here is the foundation for a low stress, and believe me, a much more profitable sale. All right, once you've got a handle on the personal stuff, now we can get practical. This next section is all about getting your home ready for showtime. We're talking about how to make smart investments that pull in top dollar, not just create a bunch of new expenses. And let me give you a classic example. A couple, both university professors, got a quote for 10 grand, $10,000, to paint their whole house. And they asked a totally fair question. Won't this increase the value by way more than what we spend? It's a great question. But the answer? Well, it's not so simple. So the bottom line is this. Painting is a strategic call, not an automatic yes. If the house already feels clean and looked after, spending that $10,000 is literally a coin flip on whether you'll even get it back. So what's the pro tip? Wait. Wait until you've decluttered and the house is empty. Then, and only then, can you really see if painting is a smart investment or just a lot of money down the drain. All right, let's talk about another one of those things that makes sellers panic. You're in the basement, you move a box, and there it is, that old, ugly water stain from a leak you fixed ages ago. Your first thought is, oh no, a buyer is going to see this and run screaming. So can you just, paint over it? The answer is yes, but you got to do it the right way. You can't just slap some paint on it because that stain will just laugh at you and bleed right back through. The magic is in step 2, a high-quality stain-blocking primer. Seriously, don't skip this. That seals it in. Then you can paint over it with whatever you want. Boom, problem solved, and for way, way less money than you thought. Okay, we've handled the personal stuff, we've prepped the house, now it's time for the big one. The most important part of this whole playbook, pricing. And here's the thing most people get wrong. Your list price isn't really about what your house is worth, it's a marketing tool. Its only job is to get as many people interested as humanly possible. I know. It's so tempting to go on a website, see that big number, and think, that's it, that's our price. But trust me, that's a huge mistake. The goal isn't to start at the top of the mountain. It's to start smart and get people to climb it for you. So check this out. It all comes down to how people search for homes online. If you list at $599.99, you're only showing up for people who set their max search at $600K. You've completely missed everyone who starts their search at $600K. But just by adding $1, just one, and listing at an even $600,000, boom, you're in both search results. You've basically doubled your exposure to the right buyers for $1. And that's the whole point, right? Your list price is the bait. You want to get so many interested buyers that you create a feeding frenzy, an auction. Because that competition, that is what pushes your final sale price way, way higher than you ever could by just starting high. Okay, so the bidding war works, the price goes way up. Fantastic. But now you hit a potential roadblock. It's called the appraisal contingency. Basically, it's the buyer's escape hatch. The bank sends an appraiser, and if they say the house isn't worth what the buyer offered, the buyer can walk away or try to renegotiate. This is where so many amazing deals just die.
But when you have multiple offers, you have all the power. And this is the real masterstroke. You can go to that winning buyer and say, hey, you're the one who offered this incredible price, so you need to be willing to cover the difference if the appraisal comes in a little short. Getting them to agree to that, that's the pro move that secures your profit and eliminates the biggest risk.
All right, you did it. You handled the decluttering, you prepped the house, you priced it like a genius, and now you've got a pile of offers. You're in the final stretch. So let's talk about navigating those last few hurdles to get you to the closing table.
So you're looking at the offers, and a big question pops up. Commissions. Wait a minute. Do I, the seller, have to pay the agent for the person buying my house? How does that even work? Okay, want to know how to make this super simple? Forget everything else and focus on one document. It's called the net sheet. Seriously, if you remember one thing today, remember this. Any good agent will make one for every single offer. It cuts through all the fog and shows you the only number that actually matters, how much money you will have in your pocket at the end of the day. A higher offer doesn't always mean more money for you. The net sheet tells the real story.
Okay, let's do a quick lightning round of those last-minute things that freak sellers out. Missing a permit from 20 years ago? Don't panic, you can usually get a copy from the town. Not sure exactly how old the roof is? Hey, I don't know is a perfectly fine and legal answer. You only have to disclose what you actually know. Got some weird quirk like the neighbor has been cutting across the lawn forever? Just be upfront about it. None of these are the deal breakers you think they are.
So you see, getting top dollar for your house with minimal stress, it's not luck. It has nothing to do with luck. It's the direct result of following a smart, deliberate plan, a playbook, from dealing with the emotions to the smart prep to playing the pricing game like a pro. The point of all this is to put you in the driver's seat. So now that you've got the playbook, the real question is, what's your first move? What's that first strategic step you're going to take on your journey? Good luck out there.